So I am outraged, and fair warning, this may not be a family-friendly show, and there most likely will be some strong language here. Now, let me introduce this story as specifically saying that some in the media are celebrating the fact that Wikipedia will be used more than ever when it comes to fact checking, when it comes to looking at reliable sources and deciding what is truth and not truth on the internet. Which brings me to my next article by Hoax that talks about how Breitbart is declaring war on Wikipedia as the encyclopedia gets drafted into Facebook's fake news battle. Breitbart News has declared war on Wikipedia following Facebook's introduction of a new feature that uses the free encyclopedia to combat fake news being spread on the social media site. And of course, Breitbart News has been labeled as an opinion piece, saying that their sources shouldn't be reliable and shouldn't be primary by Wikipedia. Breitbart's answering back, and again, Breitbart, we've been critical of them. They're pretty much just like MSNBC, pretty biased here. But doing research for this story, we looked into the bylines, we looked into Wikipedia, and who's number 14 in their people to censor all automatically? That's pretty much what they're calling for. Number 14, Rudkowski and WeAreChange.org dash conspiracy site that needs to be removed from most, if not all, of our articles. What, you son of a... Now, of course, they mention other people like Occupy Democrats talking about how them being opinions, talking about Breitbart's opinion list, but specifically talking about us automatically in the subsection. They talk about WeAreChange, quote, is a right-wing conspiracy site. Where? What are you even talking about? We're a website that's critical of Donald Trump, critical of U.S. American foreign policy, no matter who the president is, critical of Alex Jones, critical of anyone on the right trying to, of course, get rid of freedom and liberty. And we have been a number of times. That is an absolute lie. And of course, they link to an article about Think Progress that slanders us about being freaking Russian agents out of this whole Russian collusion scam. They go on and then linked, but old SPLC page, the Southern Poverty Law Center, which lied about me, took comments out of context, sprung them together as if they were something, which, by the way, again, they've been discredited time and time again on their just absolute bullcrap. And then they go on, quote, a Google search also turned up this example of a fake news site claiming the mainstream media is fake news. Quote, fake news king exposed. YouTube, and they put the YouTube link here. This is what blows my freaking mind. This is what blows my mind. In that video, I am literally talking about how this Russian collusion narrative is built on lies, which, by the way, it's all true. This is a video. Play it, but turn off the audio. Put it somewhere in the middle where I'm showing the articles. Of July 10th of 2018, I specifically went over and I said, hey, mainstream media is lying to you. They're telling you that there's Russian collusion. There isn't any Russian collusion. I'm seeing all the sources. I'm seeing all the evidence. I'm seeing all the documents. Here's them contradicting themselves. Here's them doing this and this and this. This is a video specifically espousing that belief. And this is what Wikipedia says is an example of me being an unreliable source. Meanwhile, the mainstream media that perpetrated these lies, they're still seen as reliable here. Jason, and then they go on. They're like, oh, there seems to be a conundrum here since he actually does news reporting on the ground. You want to take it from here because you were telling me about this earlier, Jason.
Yeah, when I was reading through the sources on that Motherboard article to try to, because they use very specific language about Breitbart and British tabloids like the Daily Mirror and the Daily Mail and how they downrank them to opinion pieces. And they actually, Luke, in some of these things, it's hilarious. They say, you know what? CNN or Fox News would be a lot better as a source. Let's use them. They're much more reliable. They're much more accepted. Now, the conundrum is they're talking about an instance where you were the primary source of the video, just like you're the primary source for video in France lately. The mainstream, in fact, the Daily Mail had to use your stuff. The Guardian was using your stuff. All of media was using this Berkeley coverage of a white nationalist punching a girl at the Berkeley protest, which kind of goes against them calling you a right-wing conspiracy site, since we certainly weren't like, so awesome this dude punched this girl. And you know what?
Yeah, we literally go on the ground and report and tell you, hey guys, don't believe anyone. We're here on the ground reporting what's happening to you. This is unedited. This is live. This can't be twisted and manipulated like the mainstream media that will take excerpts of these protests and manipulate a narrative for this. There's no narrative. It's live here. This is what happened. And of course, it goes against the right-wing thing, since this video made right-wingers look bad. But yet again, I'm still some kind of right-winger, which is absolutely stupid. And time again, I've made national news. I've been on CNN, on Fox News, on MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Post, all of them throughout my entire career, because I document news. I report on news. It goes on here because it shows you the kind of twisted, stupid beliefs. Should I keep going, or do you want to keep going here?
Well,
Jason?
I want to read what this says, because about the video, it's so crazy the way he states it. It seems irrational to claim the primary source simply cannot be linked, but you can link to other people who use it as their source. Yeah, it sure does seem irrational. I don't have a problem with WeAreChange generally being held as an unreliable source for news, opinion, contextual presentation, etc. So we shouldn't believe anything they say or do, but I guess maybe the raw video could be okay. And then he says, but in this case, where it is a video clip from a particular event in question that just happens to be from them, seems a very clear extenuating circumstance. Go ahead.
Jason, they even said we can't even have an opinion. And these are the people fact-checking, deciding what is true, what is allowed, what is downranked, what people will see and not see on Facebook right now. And these people are saying my on-the-ground reporting, even my opinions. No, they're not credible. No. Don't listen to him. He's bad. He's the FPLC and Think Progress, all of course extremely biased organization. Him calling out the fake news establishment, mainstream media for their Russian collusion before, when of course he was being attacked for it. He's bad for being right on that. He's bad for being there on the ground, making right-wingers look bad. He's bad because he's a right-winger. Absolute. This is all by Jay Strussman here. I really hope people contact him, or even just make a Wikipedia page, because it's absolutely insane. Again, it seems, he goes on here, it seems irrational to claim the primary source simply cannot be linked, but you can link to other people who use that as a source. And they did it before. And I was wondering, gee, man, why don't they just use what I've been doing? Even congressmen, when they were talking specifically about my work, they wouldn't mention my work. They would mention, as they're talking about doing here in Wikipedia, a source. They would talk about the Atlantic. There was one specific instance where we confronted Robert Gibbs, and Robert Gibbs pretty much said that Barack Obama assassinated an American teenager in a foreign land on his call because he had a bad father. That's literally what Robert Gibbs, Barack Obama's spokesperson, said. We had that clip, right? Everywhere it was listed. It wasn't listed as, oh, here's WeAreChange.org and WeAreChange reporters. It was Syria Adamson and me who were going one-on-one with Robert Gibbs. It wasn't any of that information saying, hey, they went there, questioned him, got this quote. It wasn't that. It was the Atlantic. The Atlantic says this happened. I'm like, wait. Why are we being always bypassed? Why is everyone in Congress, in the media, and also specifically now on Wikipedia, which again, people are seeing as the main fact checker here, why are they just completely jumping over us and not even trying to make sure that we exist? And this is exactly what they're doing here. It goes on, quote, the rational thing would seem to be to use it included as a primary source, but give it in context, even if you state that WeAreChange are a conspiracy theory outlet. How? What have we conspiracy theoried on? We don't conspiracy theory on anything. We literally say, hey, this could be our opinion, but let's look at the facts. Let's look at the evidence here. Name one theory that we pushed out there as the truth to the American public. You won't find any. This is indigenous. The mainstream media that pushed conspiracy theories, pushed weapons of mass destructions, we called out, pushed the banker bailout, we called out, pushed the Russian collusion, we called out, and we've been accurate on. You have not. You've been the proven liars, and now our opinions, our conversation, what we bring, our hard work, our journalism, the sweat, blood, and tears that I put into actually factually reporting on things, No, that's just not allowed, according to this Jay Strussman. And that is sick and disgusting and a huge disservice to the American people. You have something to say, Jason?
Yeah, well, what's really funny is they actually, in the second part, the bottom here, they're like, is there any way we can find a secondary source? But you were the only one to get the video. They're like, well, Reuters has a couple of still shots of the event from a separate angle. Maybe we can use that. And basically, they're just finding any way not to give you credit for your reporting. Now, as I've seen it, I think that WeAreChange is possibly the only news outlet to put the entire Manning, maybe News to Share as well, the entire Manning press, it wasn't really a press conference, but after she went to court the first time, she did talk to some journalists. There were some quotes out there, but nobody aired the whole thing. You know who did? WeAreChange. You know when WeAreChange started, guys? The Bush administration. So we were obviously super right-wing when confronting, the Cheneys, the Bush lies, the Rumsfeld lies. It's unreal.
Jason, let me cut you off here. Bill O'Reilly called WeAreChange left-wing jihad-loving liberals. Literally, when we were first on the stage confronting Rudolph Giuliani, David Rockefeller, John Edwards, when we were confronting everyone, literally, Fox News was slandering us and attacking us. Chris Matthews, MSNBC, same time, right-wing racists. And I'm like, wait. How can we be both in these paradigms when, of course, the power is shifting and now all the attack points are on us? And again, just look at this. Think Progress attacked us, said we were Russian agents because we didn't believe in Russian collusion. They linked that as a source. SPLC, again, linked that as a source. Not totally true. Linked to a video of me calling out Russian collusion, specifically saying there was no Russian collusion. The mainstream media is lying to you, which I've been vindicated on. And yeah, that's I'm somehow unreliable. Absolutely disingenuous, absolutely shocking. This is all done by one person. Again, I bet, people have been even reporting they can't even omit, they can't even change a lot of the bullcrap done by a lot of these super moderators that, again, are just absolutely, again, the person who did this, Jay Strussman, J-S-T-R-E-S-S-M-A-N. This man is full of lies, not objective at all, doesn't see the bigger picture here at all, and it's a part of a smear machine. Now, I don't know why this person is able to get away with this, but it is plain and absolute wrong. That's what I have to say about this. Anything else you want to say, Jason?
No, I want to let people know that this is the kind of thing that we deal with constantly. We are constantly going up against, the machine that is the mainstream media industrial complex. Okay, you cannot get even source material out there sometimes and get the credit for it. And this is a huge illustration of that. That's why it's more important than ever for you to grab a t-shirt, become a YouTube member, become a newsletter subscriber, support this operation. Luke?
This is another thing I wanted to bring up. I'm watching the video that they list here. We're going to have that video in the description below. I literally highlighted in that video me confronting Chris Matthews of MSNBC, who's seen as a reliable, trusted source. And I went up to Chris Matthews and I said, hey, you called me a right-wing racist teabagger. You're wrong. He's like, I never said that. He lied. Chris Matthews lied. The mainstream media is lies. That's all they do. I even highlighted the video when they specifically lied and lie on the record. Guys, you don't understand the level of just absolute insanity that we have to deal with, the levels of suppression that we have to deal with. And I can't thank you guys enough because I think it's still a shock that we still exist as an independent media organization. And one of the reasons we still do, out of all the odds that we face against, out of all the lies that are thrown against us, out of all the censorship, out of all just people rewriting us out of the history book saying we don't exist, having more power than ever, especially now on Facebook, I can't thank you enough for your support, your donations, your shares, and everything else. Anything else you want to say, Jason?
No, that's about it. Remember, guys, please hit that subscribe button. We are WeAreChange and Pulse Change right now. Make sure to ring that bell for notifications so you see when these videos come out. Share them on social media. But most importantly, when you see injustice in the world, get out there and change it yourself.